Hey people, Injured here, 53 Faction War. This is Calderis Refinery and Space Marines versus Tyranids for the blue Space Marine team. It's Dark Riku as a Tech Marine, starts off range combat, puts out some good damage, can also support with structures and repair, wade into melee combat too, alongside Big Mathis. As a Force Commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. Blood Angels elite scheme over here, and rounding off this blue Space Marine team is Rostam as an Apothecary support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura, some Black Templars. Red Tyranids, it's tom.woehlke, I'm probably saying that wrong, as a Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, will shoot objects and cannot be suppressed, powerful offense, disruption and support from the front lines, begins in melee combat and a basic synapse too. Alongside Floid is a Lictor Alpha, specialist in melee, can disrupt and infiltrate pretty well, a little bit of support too. And rounding us off, Boss is a Ravener Alpha, tunneling commander, great mobility and offense, starts off in range combat but can get melee weapons, and he is trying to outshoot a Tech Marine over there, which might work out okay for him with double termagants if they get upgraded. Meanwhile mid, Lictor Alpha being sneaky and is capping, and Hive Tyrant's getting shot up. It's a pretty fun matchup, Space Marines versus Tyranids. Can the wall of power armor stand against the sea of teeth? Usually they can. Hive Tyrant got shot up a bit too much there. See Rostam staying behind his Marines right now, giving them that very nice regeneration aura, ready to heal whenever he needs to. And Big Mathis helping out with some Marines of his own. Lictor Alpha does finish the cap for a 2-1 early on. Dark Riku not happy about losing that ranged firefight, it seems. Ravener Alpha changes it up quite a lot, that little dynamic early on. Scouts hanging back, Marines behind the heavy cover, no sign of shotguns anywhere yet. Big Mathis does have the double scouts though, so most likely we'll see at least one shotgun over there. Force Commander getting stuck in. Apothecary's there to support as well. Handled it okay, really. Those termagants are really far in there. Hormagaunts barely getting away. Those termagants also getting away. Here comes another wave of Tyranids though. Lictor Alpha getting stuck in a little bit late. He's probably not going to be able to hang out there too long. Apothecary gets out and Lictor Alpha also gets away. So some posturing early on. You'd expect a lot of pressure from Tyranids, but they've recognised the doubling on the west side of the Space Marines, and they are doubling here and are able to hold them off thanks to the two heroes, I think, making a big difference over here, the Force Commander and the Apothecary, before he got sent off, or rather retreated out. There he is. Space Marines are going to get their natural and the mid. There we go. 2-1 cap now for them. That's the thing, you have to not only break through the Space Marine lines in a faction war, you also have to hit their power. If you don't kill them or hit their power, winning the fight doesn't really do a whole lot for you, because they'll come back so strong in tier 2. Look at this. Tarantula turret going off in a Tech Marine of Dark Riku. Raveners though burrow striking in, and that might be a destroyed turret pretty quickly. Devastator is trying to set up to shoot the Raveners, but here come Hormagaunts. The turret will finish. Getting shots now on those termagants, and somehow suppress these guys. That was a bit weird. Do you have high powered shot? No you don't. He's trying to repair, but Boss doing the right thing, focusing the Tech Marine down. There he goes, and a Tarantula turret is also going to go down. Big Mathis couldn't quite get here in time to prevent the loss. Double scouts, no sign of shotguns. We do have Devastators also for Big Mathis, and an assault squad for Rostam. Jump troops with melee weapons can put the pressure on the back lines of the Tyranids. These double termagants upgraded, and Hormagaunts upgraded. And look at this, Bioplasma Hive Tyrant just missed with that shot, but it does. Look at that, 90 plasma cannon damage now. Could even do some work to vehicles with this thing, but can you hit it? That's the thing. Has a pretty long wind up animation, which Rostam will be looking for now. No sign of purification vials yet. Pushing through now is tom.woehlke. Has a warrior brood from Floid helping out. Raveners also from Floid in there. Tom has a warrior brood of his own. I'm going to stop trying to say the full name, because I'm most likely making a mess of it. There's a grenade. Pretty decent. Decent indeed. Kid 6 termagants there. Rostam is alone, 2v1. Where is Big Mathis then coming out of his base and starting to hit power. Oh, the Tyranids is what they need to do. Ideally would have done this a little bit earlier, but they're in there before tier 2 hits. Rostam going double assault squad, is he? Hive Tyrant hasn't got any XP whatsoever. Rostam most likely hasn't lost a model, that's why. Yeah, there's assault squad getting away with 3 models pretty luckily. But Tyranids are still on the power. Oh, snipers from Big Mathis and double snipers can help him pick off those warrior brood models from range, get those synapse backclashes going. Look at these guys chasing through. Floyd does like to get his gene stealers up in tier 2. We'll see if those guys hit the field. Always fun to see those elite melee units running around trying to get stuck in. Sanguine chainsword for the Apothecary. Do you have any XP yet, Mr. Hive Tyrant? You do. Well done. Something must have died, I guess. Maybe Mathis dropped a model. Oh, Riku's dropping models on that side. What do we got here? These guys getting away. Push through onto the VP again has Boss. Tying up that Tech Marine in melee with the Revenant Alpha. Doesn't have a melee weapon, but... well, he has his default melee weapon, I guess. What's he doing? Oh, it's building his Hive node. Look at that. Reduces your outgoing and incoming range damage, I believe. Also damages and slows down and annoys any enemies that get close. A bit of a weird structure, but it's mainly annoying. Very, very annoying to deal with, that thing. Brood Nest is up from the Hive Tyrant. That could be a great tool moving forward as we start to transition to the big mid fights of Calderis Refinery. That Hive node is still there, but he's used the ability already. He needs to wait for it to cool down, I guess. And bashing power again. Shotgun Scouts getting a sergeant for Riku. And as you can see, got another turret up to help him protect this contested power, which hasn't been built on yet, but I'm sure Riku would look to do that. Here we see the Hive node doing its thing against these guys. Little bit of damage and slowing them down too. Massive pain in the arse. And now that, because these guys are in the range of it, their damage is lowered hugely. It doesn't give damage resistance to the node itself, but because those guys were so close, their outgoing damage was lowered. But they'll take it down. I guess you could just force melee on it. 287 to 362. Snipers, can you do some work, fellas? And tier 2 for Tom. Tier 2 also for Big Mathis and Rostam. Dark Freak is already there, going for the plasma cannon. Expect to see at least one of those guys. They are such a great tool to use on this kind of map. They will also stop the Hive Tyrant from capping even when he's invulnerable, because they will knock him back. Still trying to take down that node as we look to the mid again. Force Commander, Iron Halo, Artificer, maybe a tasty Thunderhammer too. Assault Squad in there alongside their Apothecary hero. Does he have any other war gear going on? Nope. Armor of the Apothecarian is queued up for tier 2 though. 287 333 on the VPs. Tyranids have done okay tier 1. Hasn't been stupendously good, but they've bashed a little bit and they haven't lost a huge amount of models, and I don't think they lost any squads. Destroyed a turret, killed a few marines here and there. I'd slightly give the edge to the Tyranids, I think, in tier 1, but here we are in tier 2, and that's a whole different game for the Space Marines. Can start getting some really heavy hitters up. And a Zone Throat from Tom. I was just had to say, are we going to see some Zone Throats? Zone Throats have been nerfed quite a lot over the years of Elites, and I want to see if they can still pack a punch here. They're down, I'm not sure if it's 70 damage they do these days, or it might even be 60, which is pretty damn low. But I guess if you double it up, they can do some work for this. And also they provide that nice health regen synapse. Tom is doubling up, so we'll see what kind of punch they can pack. Plasma gun here for Rostam, leveling up his marines. Look out for the possible drop pod marines coming in from one of these players who want to get Stone Guard veterans up. without losing levels on their current Marines. Riku's Marines are still level 1, so he could get Stone Guard, and in fact does have the Sergeant up. Raven Alpha being annoying, getting his Synapse Aura for damage, which with triple Tyranid armies around you could be devastatingly bad. And here are the double Zoanthropes. Artillery unit that do not do friendly fire, have a shield because they are incredibly squishy with only 300 hit points. We'll see what they can do here. Those shots going in. Scouts kind of shrugging it off with their infiltration there, giving them a little bit of range damage reduction. Jumping in are the assault squad, going straight for the Zoanthrope. I think there's a crippling poison though. They do have their sergeant. I did not see the merciless there. They didn't have the energy, I don't think. Might have used it before I was paying attention. Here comes Boss. Is Floyd mixed in here too? I think he is. Yeah, this is Floyd and Tom, who at a glance have relatively similar colour schemes, so it's confusing me. Nice grenade. Ravenous Burrow striked in from Floyd, and they got the Space Marines out of there. And we'll cap the mid, I think. 253 to 302. Plasma Cannon doing its thing, covered by the Devastators that have a heavy bolter. There it is. But Warrior Brood able to use that passive jump to get in there. Shotgun blast though, and a Plasma Cannon Tech Marine is bad news for those Warriors. Still doesn't tell me the DPS of this thing. Very annoying. It must be like 30 something, late 30s, maybe even 40, because this thing is like 43, I think. Yeah, 43.45 on the Great Devourer. Plasma Cannon continues to get shots in. These Termagants need to run away. Zoanthrope doing work, breaking a wall, and I guess it got those Devastators out of it. Oh, mark target on the Lictor Alpha from Signum Armor 239, 299. Floyd just wants to get Dark Riku out of here, so maybe this thing could be decapped. Raven Alpha's going for it, fully kitted out with regeneration. Look at... Oh, we can't see it now because he's got full health, but it gives you such amazing health regen that regenerate. There's a drop pod. So these guys are most likely going to be Stone Guard veterans for Big Mathis. He has a Whirlwind on the field. And a Thunderhammer. There's those Stone Guard. Assault Squad trying to pressure the double Zoanthropes, but we have Gene Stealers up for Tom. Melee superiority unit with power melee weapon as they can tear through anything. In fact, we have double Gene Stealers for Tom. He is now my favourite Dawn of War 2 player. This is going to be awesome. Or hopelessly bad for him, because that is a Thunderhammer Force Commander and Devastators, and also a Librarian who could get his Force Barrier and mess them up. But we'll see how it goes. Their Rending Claws, I believe, were moved back to Tier 3 because of the Warrior Thorax Swarm. There it is, giving Tyranids extra oomph against the vehicles in Tier 2. Sniper Scouts happy to be at the front of the army, taking shots here under infiltration. 191, 299. Space Marines have the mid. Can the Tyranids get back through? They really need to spread the Space Marines out. Boss needs to keep pushing against Riku's natural if he can. You don't want the Space Marines to consolidate in one place. Apothecary now with his Anointed Power Axe and his Purification Vials, which scale pretty well, I think, against his little Tyranids. More Marines with Sergeant for Big Mathis. There's his Stone Guard veterans. First Company Marines that can change their ammo type to combat all targets at the moment with their default Kraken rounds to combat heavy infantry and heroes. Warrior Brood having a tough time fighting an assault squad with the Apothecary support here. Hive Tyrant moving in. Has his Rending Talons and improved Synapse. Nice special. Oh, that wasn't a special, that was the Seismic Roar. And Hormagaunts with Adrenal Glands getting in on the assault squad. Need to run away here. I think the Hive Tyrant kind of path blocking his own Hormagaunts. Let those assault squad off relatively easily. There's Veil of Time on the Devastators. Is he really going to push through here? I don't think so. Backing away are the Raveners. What's going on with Boss? Don't see him making a move yet. He might be waiting for something specific. Tier 3 for Floid here. Don't think Floid got a tier 2 unit up, so could see a relatively quick Khan effects on the field here. Dark Riku has a Dreadnought. Starts off with these 2 close combat weapons. Incredibly dangerous to any Tyranids that want to get close to it. I will ability cap it. That means he's trying to get the bonded exoskeleton up. There it is. But there is a plasma cannon there. That will stop you capping, Mr. Hive Tyrant. Up goes the invulnerability. Whirlwind won't knock him over, but the plasma cannon will. Here we go. Boom. Well, it doesn't knock him over, does it? Just kind of makes him hop backwards. Yeah, and he realises it's futile and backs away. Come on, Zoanthropes, do some work. Big blob of Marines here you can shoot at. Floyd seems to be floating quite a lot of resources here. Is he waiting for a Swarm Lord? He might be. I want to see some Neurothropes. Barely ever see those guys, it feels like. In faction wars at least, and they will do a good job against all this power armor. Tier 3 now for Boss, Tier 3 for Riku and Big Mathis. Oh, and a beacon is up as well. Space Marines looking kind of strong here. If they can get Tier 3 Terminators and stuff going, Tyranids going to have a rough time. They need those Carnifexes on the march, I think. They have a full power over here, look at this. And this is no node whatsoever. Are you going to steal it, fellas? Looks like they want to try and steal it, maybe. 191, 189, very, very close on VPs. Here comes a Swarm Lord from Floyd, it is. That will be a very nice frontline option to steamroll in and try and get these guys out of here. Maybe march towards that beacon. Well, not march too far, but beyond it. Tom getting his Tier 3 going. With double Gene Stealers and double Zoanthropes in play. Got to Tier 3 in decent time, really. There's those Purification Vials. They're going to be absolutely devastatingly bad. Now's a Merciless Strike, I think, thrown in. Almost eviscerated the Hormagaunts, but they do get out of there. And look at that. Zoanthrope doing some work, but they do get shot by some sniper guns too. 191, 158, 2-to-1 cap for the Space Marines. They need the Tier 3 heavy hitters now to keep this pressure up. Because Swarm Lord's going to hit the field. What do they have in terms of anti-vehicle? They do have Devastators that could transition to Las Cannons. Marines can also get their missile launchers going, of course. Could get Melter Gun and Power Fist on the heroes. They've got options. Stone Guard veterans also have their recently buffed Vengeance rounds. 191, 140 on the VP's Thunderhammer doing its thing, making life very, very miserable for those Gene Stealers. Is this boss making a move? It's the Ravener. Looks like he took out the turret here. But that's a Dreadnought on retreat path. Not what you want to see. Gets away though. Venom Brood in play with range Synapse. Taking some shots. They really do pack a punch, these guys. Taking shots at that Dreadnought. Here's a Swarm Lord. Super unit for Tyranids. Awesome melee combat and also provides a very useful speed buff and reinforcement Synapse. Nothing close by to take advantage of it, but there is a Tyrannid formation from, I guess, Floyd. One shots the beacon, I guess. One shots all buildings, I believe. Tech Marine went down and Swarm Lord has got through onto the turret. And Raven Alpha's decapping too. Good little push there from the Tyranids. Using a nuke to get through. Swarm Lord needs to be careful though. Doesn't want to hang out behind enemy lines for too long, because things can change quickly in terms... Oh, there's a last cannon already. Look at that. I was going to say in terms of the loadout of Space Marines. Last cannon getting shots in. There's Vengeance rounds as well from the Stone Guard veterans. You need to move, Mr. Swarm Lord. We also have a Melter Bomb, potentially. Oh, did he just take out the Librarian? I think he did. And down goes the Apothecary too. But this is now going to be a completely locked down Swarm Lord. The Melter Bomb and Las Cannon speed debuff stacking. And there's another Las Cannon. I don't think he's going to get out of it. Dreadnought moving in as well. Boss has a Carnifex up with the Thornback. Swarmlord goes down. Did cause a lot of problems, but they did not cap the mid in that time. Whirlwind continues to be a massive pain in the arse. Look at that. Level 3 Force Commander. What about you fellas? Level 2 Tech Marine. Level 3 Apothecary. Not really high levels all around, it seems. Units have been preserved relatively well, I think. Floyd's looking rather thin though, with only 3 units on the field. Lost some little Tyranids and lost its Swarmlord too. Needs to try and get some heavy hitters up. Hive Tyrant pushes through. VP is uncapped. Getting Land Raider, says Big Mathis, and indeed he is. We know the massive difference those things can make in these team games. Warrior Brood should be okay. The Apothecary sprinting around because of this. 1.5 speed. This is such an amazing piece of armor. Gives you a big chunk of health, health regen, a little bit of that. Advanced healing and that crazy speed buff. Carnifex, oh I think the Carnifex got through and finished off the Dreadnought over there that we missed, but he gets away. Took a last cannon shot it looks like. Brood Nest going up from Tom, very nicely placed over there. And Tyranids do have that VP. Look at this though. Sneaky scouts. 92 to 101. VP lead here for the Tyranids, and a Neurothrope is on the way for boss. Very, very cool unit, I think, the Neurothrope. Interesting design to that guy. The fact that he can't naturally regenerate energy. He needs to use Spirit Leech and his other ability that I forget the name of to regenerate his energy. Pretty cool. And he can hurt you a lot too. He's like 400, 100, right? Yeah. Not cheap. 100 power. But can do some serious work for you. See how he does here. Rostam putting the pressure on. Looks like he's going to cap this VP maybe. Center is uncapped. This one is being decapped. It's all kicking off here late game. 77 VPs left for the Space Marines. And there is the Land Raider Redeemer. Bristling with guns and also axe. Is a very powerful mobile base. Can retreat back to it, can reinforce around it, can even get inside it to escape nasty nukes and things. Terminators also for Big Mathis here. Did not go for assault Terminators though. Wonder if he wants to get that Cyclone missile launcher up. Carnifex just hanging out here. Might want to back away, big fella. Tyranids did cap the mid, but having trouble holding their natural. Rostam doing a good job putting pressure on here. Boss also doing a good job doing that the other side, it must be said. But there's the 2-1 for the Space Marines. Can they now hold on to this 2-1 with the Land Raider in play? Riku getting another Land Raider up. Might have wanted to get some Predators for himself now that his ally has a Land Raider, but hey, double Land Raiders, who's going to complain? Well, maybe the Tyranids will complain. As far as I can see, there's only 2 Carnifexes on the field, unless Tom has one buried in his very, very deep roster here. Preserved both of his Gene Stealer Broods, preserved both of his Zone Thropes, now has a Crushing Claw Hive Tyrant. He's purchased a hell of a lot of war gear. He also had Rending Talons and Improved Synapse, I believe. Lictor Alpha levels. Has Scything Talons and Adrenal Glands and Lone Hunter going. 65 to 84 on the VP. Space Marines. In fact, the Force Commander himself is trying to decap the VP and does so. Still a single against them though. Look at this. Boss doing a fantastic job. With that Zoanthrope now doing some work too. He also leeches health when he hits with his basic attack, which is pretty fun. That's a very, very dead Devastator squad. Look at this Neurothrope. He's awesome. I think Absorb Life is his other ability. Drains health and I think gives him a bit of energy regen too. There's the second Land Raider. Neurothrope can't help you against vehicles. That's his big downside. Otherwise, he's pretty damn cool. Could use his Cataclysm here to get a knockback and does. Nicely done. In fact, helped finish off the Tech Marine there. There's that Frag Assaults. It's a lot of damage on the Land Raider though, Mr. Riku. Venom Brood and a melee Carnifex doing some work. All the Carnifex back away here. 27 to 84, 2-1 cap for the Tyranids. Floid getting the Carnifex up. Running out of VPs are the Space Marines here. Middle being decapped by the Lictor Alpha 2. They've played this very well, you've got to say, the Tyranids. Boss and Tom have done a fantastic job preserving their stuff, and they have this single cap. Down to 12 VPs, the Space Marines. Down to 10. There's the 1-1 now. But can the Lictor Alpha finish his cap? Whirlwind hits him. He can't. Look at that though. It's double focus warp blast. Almost taken out the Whirlwind there. Carnifex charges in, and here comes them terrifying Gene Stealers with their rending claws. Wow. Look at this for an ending. 10 to 84 on the VPs. Can't believe that Whirlwind is still alive. That Carnifex hasn't just charged after it by now. Terminator Force Commander is in play. Not sure why he went for that over what he had. It is pretty killy, but so is a Thunderhammer. Cap, says Floid. Yes, this needs to be capped. Raven Alpha's going to try and do so. What is this? It is a bunch of Marines. Zone Thrope doing his thing. I want to see a Paroxysm. I'm sure he's used it a bunch of times. Hive Tyrant using his invulnerability to cap. Plasma Cannon couldn't quite get them off it. Oh, I think it did. The Hive Tyrant stopped capping for some reason. There is the Paroxysm. A percentage-based damage over time, so very powerful against high hit point targets. It's also psychic damage, so it actually does extra versus heavy and super heavy, which is why it's so devastating to Marines and Terminators. They're going to cap this, and that should be the game. That should be the game. I thought this was going to be Space Marines all day long when that Land Raider hit the field. But I think the Tyranids have done enough here. Just sending that Carnifex in to distract and die. And wow, awesome special attack there. And there it is. The Tyranids have it. Broodness going up in the middle, but they didn't need it in the end. Let's look at these heroes, end of the game. Level 3 Tech Marine with Plasma Gun, Signum and Orbs. Had that Terminator Force Commander. He did not get a weapon upgrade. Level 5 Apothecary all the way back here. Level 3 Hive Tyrant with those very scary looking crushing claws at the front there. Level 3 Lictor and a level 4 Raven Alpha. There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.